Ma'am, I'm going to need you to show me your real ticket. This obviously isn't yours. Janelle Williams holds the first-class boarding pass between manicured fingers, her smile sharp as broken glass. The ticket trembles slightly, catching the cabin's harsh fluorescent light. 10 minutes until takeoff, and the senior flight attendant has already decided who belongs. Dr. Kesha Washington sits motionless in seat 1A, her Patek Philippe catching the same unforgiving light. The black Amex Centurion card rests on her armrest like a silent witness. Her stillness carries more weight than any protest could. Look at this, everyone. We've got another one trying to sneak into first class. Janelle's phone rises, the red recording light blinking like a predator's eye. 847 viewers flood the live stream within seconds. Comments cascade down the screen. First-class fraud already trending. The algorithm feeds on assumptions. Derek Jenkins approaches, his manager's badge gleaming with borrowed authority. His jaw sets before he even assesses the situation. Security to gate B7. We have a situation. 9 minutes and 47 seconds until departure. The countdown begins. Sometimes power speaks loudest in silence. Watch what happens next. Kesha Washington learned long ago that dignity weighs more than rage. At 42, her Armani suit fits like armor, each thread woven with battles won in boardrooms where she was the only face like hers. She doesn't flinch as accusations rain down. Her brown eyes track every movement, filing details for later use. Not again. 20 years of building an empire, and still this. Still invisible until I show the receipts. The thought passes through her mind like aircraft through turbulence, acknowledged but not allowed to alter course. Ms. Washington? Derek's fingers dance across his iPad, doubt creeping into his voice despite himself. This seat is reserved for our Platinum Elite members. The Centurion card slides across the tray table with deliberate precision. I've been Platinum Elite since 2019. Anyone can fake a card these days. Janelle zooms her camera closer, hunting for pixels of deception. But for just a moment, barely a heartbeat, her hand wavers. Something in Kesha's stillness triggers a warning in her gut that she immediately dismisses. No, I know these people. Always trying to get something for nothing. The viewer count climbs, 2,341 witnesses to this modern trial. Her 15 years of experience have taught her to spot fraudsters, or so she believes. That belief hardens her voice, sharpens her smile. Robert Chen, in seat 1C, angles his phone discreetly, creating an independent record. His whisper barely disturbs the recycled air. This is going viral. Sarah Martinez shifts uncomfortably in 3B, her Latina heritage making this scene too familiar. Her fingers hover over her own phone's record button. Marcus Thompson in 4C grips his armrest, knuckles darkening with pressure. Another black professional watching history repeat itself at 30,000 feet, or rather, still at the gate. Eleanor Whitfield adjusts her pearl necklace in 2A, 73 years of ingrained beliefs, nodding along with Janelle's performance. Her thin lips purse in approval of maintaining proper order. 8 minutes to departure. Flight attendants, prepare for final checks. Captain Rodriguez's announcement crackles through speakers designed to soothe, now serving as a countdown to confrontation. Kesha's fingers move across her phone screen with surgical precision. The email subject line reads simply, Implement hold procedures, N478WA. No explanation needed for those who know what leverage looks like in aviation. Officer Martinez appears at the aircraft door, his partner's hand already resting on handcuffs. Their authority fills the narrow space, adding weight to an already suffocating atmosphere. Ma'am, we'll need you to come with us. The handcuffs gleam under the cabin lights, a threat made manifest. Yet Kesha's gaze drops to something else entirely. The Washington Aerospace Industries logo embossed on her leather briefcase. Gold letters catch light, like a secret about to be revealed. Officers, before you proceed, may I ask who owns this aircraft? The question hangs in pressurized air. Janelle's laugh cuts through it like turbulence. Skylink Airlines owns this plane, not you. 5,672 viewers agree in real time, their comments a chorus of mockery. Delusional passenger starts trending, the internet's jury reaching its verdict. But Keisha's hand moves to her briefcase's brass clasps. The soft click of them opening sounds like a clock starting. Actually, Janelle, let me show you something interesting about aircraft N478WA. The identification number rolls off her tongue like a password to a vault about to open. Inside her briefcase, documents wait with patient certainty. Papers that transform metal and fuel into leverage and power. The viewer count keeps climbing, but the real audience hasn't even realized the show has begun. Derek's face cycles through dismissal to doubt as Kesha pulls out a bound folder thick with legal significance. The plane's tail number embossed on its cover matches the one painted outside. N478WA, a serial number about to become evidence. What game are you playing? Derek's voice wavers between authority and uncertainty. But games require players who don't know the outcome. Keisha Washington stopped playing games the day she signed her first Boeing contract. What happens next isn't chance. It's choreography, and every camera rolling is about to capture a masterclass in corporate justice. The cockpit door remains closed, pilots unaware their aircraft has become a courtroom. The other first-class passengers lean forward, their privilege buying them front-row seats to a reversal they can't yet comprehend. Even the recycled air seems to pause, waiting for the next move. Derek Jenkins snatches the folder with the reflexive arrogance of middle management. His fingers leave damp prints on leather worth more than his monthly salary. Enough games. Officers, remove her now. The words barely leave his mouth before Keisha's voice cuts through, calm as surgical steel. That's a lease agreement. My company owns this plane. The statement lands like gravity doubling. Janelle's phone jerks upward, hunting for the lie in Keisha's eyes. Finding none, she defaults to mockery, her voice pitched for maximum viral impact. Listen to her lies. She thinks she owns a 787. But something flickers behind her eyes. A crack in certainty quickly plastered over with performance. What if? No. Keep filming. This is gold. 11,439 viewers feast on the spectacle. Delusional passenger climbs to number 3 nationally. Algorithms amplifying assumptions into truth. But Robert Chen's fingers have been busy on a different search. His eyes widen as data loads on his screen. Sir, she's telling the truth. Her company has $2.3 billion in aircraft assets. The words pierce through cabin noise like a needle through fabric. Derek's face cycles through denial, his worldview short-circuiting. Anyone can forge documents. His hand waves dismissively, but uncertainty creeps into the gesture. Officer Martinez steps closer to the papers, his trained eye scanning watermarks and seals. Years of checking IDs at airport security have taught him the difference between fiction and fact. Sir, these look like legitimate Boeing contracts. Janelle's voice rises to a shriek, her carefully maintained composure cracking like pressurized glass. I don't care if she owns Boeing itself. She assaulted my crew with her attitude. The accusation hangs absurd in recycled air. Keisha hasn't moved from her seat, hasn't raised her voice, hasn't done anything but exist in space they've decided she doesn't deserve. Marcus Thompson's patience finally snaps. He rises from 4C, his 6-foot frame unfolding with deliberate dignity. Assaulted? She's been sitting quietly while you harass her. Derek spins toward this new threat, his authority challenged from multiple angles. Sir, please remain seated or you'll be removed too. The threat multiplies, expanding to encompass anyone who dares question their narrative. Sarah Martinez makes her decision. Her phone rises, and her live stream begins with words that cut through in Spanish-accented English. Skylink discrimination happening right now. Watch this. 2 streams now compete for the truth. Different angles on the same injustice. The viewer count fragments, but grows. 24,567 witnesses across platforms. CNN's algorithm picks up the unusual engagement pattern. A production assistant flags it for the news desk. Captain Rodriguez emerges from the cockpit, 4 stripes on his shoulders carrying the weight of final authority. His presence shifts the cabin's energy. What's delaying my flight? Derek gestures toward Keisha, like she's evidence in a crime. Captain, this woman claims to own our plane. Rodriguez checks his Breitling, a gift for 20 years of service. 6 minutes to departure window. Resolve this now. The deadline sharpens everything. Keisha pulls out her phone with the same unhurried precision she's maintained throughout. The number she dials belongs in the contacts of Fortune 500 CEOs, not passengers being threatened with removal. Charles? Yes, implement the hold procedures for N478WA. Contact dispatch immediately. The words mean nothing to most listeners, but Charles Morton, Chief Technology Officer of Washington Aerospace Industries, knows exactly what they trigger. His fingers fly across keyboards in a Seattle office tower, accessing communication channels airlines monitor obsessively. Suddenly, Captain Rodriguez's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen, a message from dispatch that makes his eyebrows rise. What do you mean we have a maintenance hold? He rushes back into the cockpit where his co-pilot shows him the ACARS message on their communication system. Ground hold, lesser initiated safety review. Do not depart. Await further instructions. What the hell? Rodriguez's training kicks in. This isn't some mysterious system override. This is legal aviation protocol when an aircraft lessor exercises their contractual rights. His face pales as implications sink in. Meanwhile, the ground crew receives their own instructions through proper channels. The pushback tug disconnects. Ground power remains attached. The plane isn't going anywhere. Janelle's determination hardens into desperation. Her viewer count has become her validation, her audience, her jury. Now she's pretending to control our plane. Security! But the security officers have stopped moving forward. Commissioner Hayes's voice emerges from Keisha's phone speaker with the clarity of someone used to being obeyed. Officers Martinez and Johnson, this is Commissioner Hayes. Stand down immediately. I'm reviewing Dr. Washington's credentials with the FAA as we speak. The title, Doctor, lands like another piece of evidence. The passenger's perception shifts incrementally. This isn't just any woman they're trying to remove. Eleanor Whitfield's certainty wavers for the first time in 7 decades. In my day, people knew their place. The words escape before she can stop them, a confession masquerading as nostalgia. Marcus Thompson's phone swings toward her, his voice carrying the weight of every similar comment he's endured. And what place is that, ma'am? She retreats into her seat, suddenly aware she's become part of the story. Keisha reaches for another document, this one bound in Skylink's own corporate colors. Skylink Airlines Shareholding Structure, page 47. The folder opens to reveal numbers that transform corporate structure into personal power. Highlighted in yellow: Washington Aerospace Industries, 12.7% stake. I don't just lease you this plane, I own 12.7% of your company. Derek's laughter comes out forced, the sound of a man grasping for a reality that's dissolving. Security! Drag her out now! But the officers have become statues, Commissioner Hayes still speaking in their earpieces. Outside, a ground supervisor approaches the aircraft, confirming what dispatch already knows. This plane has been legally grounded by its owner. 41,298 viewers watch the exact moment Derek Jenkins realizes he's not management. He's middle management. And somewhere above him, power has shifted hands. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Rodriguez. We have a maintenance hold situation. The carefully chosen words mask panic, spreading through the cockpit as dispatch messages cascade down their screens. Kesha rises from 1A with the unhurried grace of someone who's waited 42 years for this moment. Her voice carries through the cabin without need for shouting. The situation is discrimination, Captain. Each word drops with precision, truth cutting through corporate euphemism. Janelle's phone drops several inches, her arm suddenly weak. The live stream continues from a lower angle, catching her face as blood drains from it. You actually stopped the plane? Disbelief makes her voice small, transforming the woman who commanded attention into someone realizing she's been performing on the wrong stage. Keisha opens her laptop with the same calm she's maintained throughout, fingers dancing across keys with practiced efficiency. Standard lessor rights under our contract. When safety is compromised, including discriminatory behavior, we can ground the aircraft pending review. Derek attempts one last grasp at his crumbling authority. Discrimination is a safety violation? When crew judgment is compromised by bias? Absolutely. The laptop screen turns toward the cabin like evidence presented to a jury. The display shows corporate structure laid bare. Washington Aerospace Industries, CEO and founder, Dr. Keisha Washington. The title transforms everything that came before. Every dismissal, every sneer, every assumption recontextualized in LED clarity. How many times have I sat in first class, wondering when this would happen again? Mother faced it in the 60s. I face it with billions in the bank. When does it end? The thought flashes through Keisha's mind, but her face remains composed, professional. This isn't about emotion. It's about systems. 73,841 viewers across platforms witness the reveal. Bloomberg TV's algorithm triggers breaking news alerts. A producer shouts across the newsroom about aircraft grounding and stock implications. Robert Chen's Twitter erupts with notifications as his thread goes viral. I'm sitting next to the most powerful woman in aviation. The tweet spreads faster than jet fuel, igniting conversations in boardrooms and break rooms alike. On trading floors, analysts scramble to understand implications. Skylink stock begins its descent, 2.3% in after-hours trading, algorithms responding to uncertainty with mechanical pessimism. Derek's phone buzzes with a caller ID that makes his hand shake. Patricia Lawson, General Counsel. Her voice cuts through speaker static with laser precision. Do not remove that passenger. Ms. Lawson, but she owns $300 million of our stock, plus the plane. Are you insane? The words echo in the cabin despite the phone not being on speaker. Every syllable carries career-ending weight. Janelle's phone finally slips from nerveless fingers, clattering on the galley floor. The live stream continues from its new angle, capturing her feet as they stumble backward. The viewer count reaches 124,439, but she no longer cares about fame. I didn't know. Her voice breaks on the admission, but ignorance has never been absolution. Keisha opens another window on her laptop, a trading dashboard showing real-time market movements. Numbers flow like blood from a wound. Your airline's value just dropped $67 million. The figure hangs in recycled air, abstract wealth made concrete consequence. She continues with the same professorial tone. Every minute this plane sits here costs Skylink $12,000. Mathematics of accountability, calculated in lost connections and delayed passengers. Marcus Thompson can't contain himself any longer. He rises again, this time applauding slowly, each clap a percussion of vindication. That's what accountability looks like. Sarah Martinez's stream explodes with views as she switches between English and Spanish, her excitement infectious. La CEO más poderosa que he visto. This is the most powerful woman I've ever seen. Black excellence. Eleanor Whitfield's 73 years of certainty crumble in seconds. She shrinks into her seat, pearls suddenly feeling like chains. Her voice emerges thin and uncertain. I apologize. I was wrong. The admission costs her more than first-class tickets ever could. On her phone screen, the FAA regional director appears via secure video link. His expression carries the weight of federal authority as he addresses Captain Rodriguez. Dr. Washington's credentials have been verified at the highest levels. The aircraft ground hold is legitimate and will remain until she authorizes release. Your call, ma'am. The power transfer happens without ceremony, authority flowing from uniform to suit. Keisha turns to Rodriguez with the same calm she's maintained throughout, but now it carries different weight. Captain, would you like to keep your wings? The question cuts deeper than any threat. 20 years of service, 4 stripes earned through dedication, all balanced on the edge of a decision made in ignorance. Rodriguez's response comes from his core, training and pride aligning with necessity. Ma'am, I sincerely apologize. This should never have happened. CNN breaking news banners flash across millions of screens. Black female CEO grounds, major airline flight over discrimination. The headline reduces complexity to digestible drama, but the story spreads regardless. News desks scramble reporters to airports, seeking comment from airlines suddenly worried about their own policies. Keisha's attention turns to Janelle, who stands frozen in the galley like a statue made of regret. The observation comes without cruelty, just mathematical precision. Your live stream has 3.7 million views across platforms. The number represents more than metrics. It's evidence archived across servers, testimony preserved in silicon. Janelle's tears arrive then, not performance but genuine recognition of self-destruction broadcast in high definition. For a moment, just one moment, Janelle's mask completely drops. Her voice emerges small, almost childlike. I was just doing what I was trained to do. They said to watch for people who don't look like they belong. The admission hangs between them. Systemic racism confessed in a single sentence, but then her defenses snap back up. Professionalism reasserting itself even as tears streak her makeup. I'm sorry, but Keisha has heard apologies before, seen tears that dry without creating change. Her response cuts through emotion to structure. Sorry isn't a system change, Janelle. She opens yet another file on her laptop, this one dense with policy documentation. The screen fills with procedures and protocols, the architecture of discrimination laid bare in corporate language. Every clause represents a choice, every policy a decision to maintain or change status quo. True power doesn't announce itself with volume. It speaks with precision and acts with purpose. When you hold real authority, the world stops to listen. The boardroom materializes through pixels and bandwidth. 12 faces appear on Keisha's laptop screen, Skylink's board of directors summoned to emergency session. Their backdrop, home offices and vacation homes, contrast sharply with the aircraft cabin battlefield. Dr. Washington, please don't destabilize our airline. The plea comes from Chairman William Thornton, his Martha's Vineyard sunset visible behind him. Keisha shares her screen with the precision of someone who's conquered boardrooms before. Data flows like water breaking through dams. You destabilized it when you allowed systemic racism. The spreadsheet unfolds. 847 discrimination complaints filed over 18 months. Each row a person, each cell a dignity denied. CFO Thomas Bradley adjusts his glasses, searching for corporate shelter. One incident doesn't represent our culture. Kesha's fingers dance across the keyboard, filtering data with surgical precision. Only 3% investigated. 0 resulted in termination. Shall I continue? The silence stretches across fiber optic cables. General Counsel Patricia Lawson's face appears, her home library backdrop suggesting authority she's about to surrender. We'll review our policies immediately. No. The single word carries more weight than any legal brief. Keisha sends a file labeled Washington Protocol, 7-point reform. The document opens on their screens like commandments carved in silicon. You'll implement my 7-point reform plan, now. Mandatory bias training every quarter, body cameras for all customer-facing crew, AI monitoring for discrimination patterns. Each point builds on the last, creating architecture for accountability. The stock ticker on another window shows Skylink down 4.7%. Twitter notifications cascade, hat boycott. Skylink gains momentum with celebrity endorsements and corporate accounts distancing themselves. Derek attempts his last play for relevance. Dr. Washington, I'll personally ensure. You're fired, Mr. Jenkins. Clear your credentials immediately. The termination lands like a gavel. Union Representative Janet Fuller's face appears on screen, her office walls lined with labor victory photos. You can't fire union members without process. Keisha pulls up another document, highlighting specific text with yellow digital ink. Check Article 27.4, Gross Misconduct Clause. Discrimination qualifies. Her legal team joins the call, their presence filling the screen like an army materializing. The lead attorney speaks with Harvard-trained precision. We have 500 lawyers ready for litigation. Would you prefer resolution or war? Robert Chen's posts create their own ecosystem of discussion. Tech executives and aviation insiders share context, building understanding in real time. His follower count climbs past 1 million as people hungry for truth find his thread. Watching corporate justice live, this is historic. The first-class cabin divides like a social experiment. Some passengers applaud, others shift uncomfortably, privilege making them complicit. In economy, phones glow with streams and updates. A young black girl texts her mother with shaking fingers. A black woman owns the plane. The galley becomes a war room of whispers. Senior flight attendant Michelle Parks corners her colleagues, her 15 years of seniority adding weight to wrong opinions. Janelle was wrong, but this is extreme. Junior attendant James Wright pushes back, his 2 years of witnessing discrimination finally finding voice. Extreme? We've enabled this for years. Captain Rodriguez returns to the PA system, his words carefully chosen. Dr. Washington has graciously agreed to let us depart. Keisha's voice cuts through before he can finish. After some personnel changes. HR Director Sandra Kim joins the video conference, her fingers poised over digital paperwork. Termination papers ready for signature. Janelle's union lawyer appears on screen, his rushed appearance suggesting panic. This is wrongful termination. But Keisha has prepared for this moment like a general planning campaign. She clicks play on a compilation video. 47 instances of Janelle's fraud detection streams. The pattern emerges with damning clarity. Every accused passenger shares melanin as their crime. This is bigger than Janelle. She's a symptom, not the disease. But symptoms need treatment too. Pattern of discrimination. Would you like me to send this to the EEOC? The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission threat hangs like a sword. The union lawyer's resistance crumbles. We'll accept the termination. The investigation widens. 3 more crew members identified through passenger complaints and security footage. All suspended pending review, their careers halted mid-flight. CEO Michael Harrison finally joins the call, his private jet visible through the window behind him. Dr. Washington, what do you want? Justice. And a board seat to ensure it happens. That's extortion. His face flushes red, power challenged by power. Keisha's response comes with corporate calm. No, that's 12.7% ownership exercising shareholder rights. The board fractures. Old alliances crack under pressure. The vote happens in real time. Democracy performed through raised hands on screens. 7 for, 5 against. Dr. Kesha Washington joins Skylink's board of directors while sitting in seat 1A of their own aircraft. The stock market responds to decisive action like a patient to medicine. The decline slows, then stops, then reverses. Markets prefer certain change to uncertain status quo. Hashtags shift from #boycott Skylink to justice at 30,000 feet. The narrative transforms from crisis to catalyst. Keisha stands again, this time addressing the entire aircraft. Her voice carries without amplification, truth needing no microphone. Everyone here witnessed history. You have a choice. She pauses, letting weight accumulate. Stand against discrimination or be complicit. There's no middle ground. The words spread through the plane like pressure equalizing. In business class, a pharmaceutical executive deletes a dismissive tweet half-composed. In economy, a teacher starts drafting curriculum about corporate responsibility. Every passenger becomes a node in a network of potential change. Outside, operations receives clearance to proceed. The ground hold lifts officially through proper channels, dispatch confirming with the crew that the maintenance issue has been resolved. No mysterious overrides, just the power of ownership exercised through legitimate aviation protocols. This plane departs in 3 minutes. With new leadership, Keisha stands at the front of first class, her presence transforming the galley into a pulpit. Janelle packs her belongings with shaking hands, each item a reminder of the career she live-streamed into oblivion. Her makeup runs in tributaries of regret, mascara mapping the geography of consequences. I've destroyed my career. The admission comes hollow, self-pity seeking sympathy. Keisha's response arrives without comfort. You destroyed it the day you chose prejudice over professionalism. Truth lands harder than any punishment. Derek escorts Janelle toward the exit, his own credentials already deactivated. Security officers wait to confiscate her airport access, each badge and keycard stripped away like military dishonor. Her identity dissolves with every step toward unemployment. 8.4 million viewers watch across platforms as Skylink 6 trends globally, the 6 employees terminated or suspended in real time. White House Press Secretary Sarah Chen Fields questions at an emergency briefing. We're monitoring the situation closely. Discrimination has no place in American aviation. The presidential seal adds weight to words spreading through news cycles. Back in the cabin, Keisha addresses the remaining crew with prosecutorial precision. Who else participated in discrimination? The question hangs like Judgment Day. 2 flight attendants step forward, their courage born from witnessing consequences. Maria Rodriguez and Thomas Kim, both junior crew, raise trembling hands. We were wrong. We followed Janelle's lead without questioning. Honesty earns different verdict. Keisha's voice softens marginally. Voluntary admission. You're suspended with mandatory retraining, not terminated. The distinction between justice and vengeance drawn in employment terms. Captain Rodriguez steps forward, 4 stripes heavy on his shoulders. Dr. Washington, how do we prevent this? By making it more costly to discriminate than to be fair. She announces the number like launching a rocket. $10 million? The figure echoes through the cabin. She continues, building architecture for change. A fund for passengers who faced discrimination. Report incidents through my foundation. We'll investigate what Skylink ignored. Robert Chen's fingers fly across his phone screen. Within seconds, a GoFundMe appears. Support Dr. Washington's Anti-Discrimination Fund. The donations pour in like justice delayed finding outlet. $10,000 in 30 seconds, $50,000 in 2 minutes. The counter spins like slot machine paying out overdue winnings. $2.8 million accumulate in 10 minutes. Viewers become investors in change, their small contributions building toward systemic reform. Sarah Martinez conducts impromptu interviews in Spanish, her stream reaching Latin American markets. The story transcends language, discrimination needing no translation. Marcus Thompson stands, his business card extended. Thompson and Associates will provide pro bono legal services to any victim coming forward. His firm's commitment spreads through legal Twitter, other practices joining until a network forms. Justice finding infrastructure. Eleanor Whitfield rises on unsteady legs, her checkbook emerging from a purse worth more than median income. $50,000 to atone for my prejudice. She writes with the careful script of someone relearning fundamental truths. The check tears cleanly, passing from old assumptions to new possibilities. Her donation triggers others, first-class passengers calculating their complicity in dollar amounts. Kesha's phone rings with a caller ID that makes even her pause. Warren Buffett. She answers on speaker, his Midwestern wisdom filling the cabin. Proud of you, Keisha. Berkshire Hathaway stands with reform. We're reviewing all our airline holdings. The Oracle of Omaha's endorsement ripples through markets. Institutional investors issue statements supporting Skylink's reforms. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Trillion-dollar voices harmonizing around change. ESG funds flag Skylink for positive screening, money flowing toward justice. New crew members board to replace the terminated staff. Their faces carry nervous energy, understanding they're stepping into history. A fresh-faced attendant approaches Keisha with reverence typically reserved for celebrities. Dr. Washington, it's an honor to serve you. Serve everyone with honor. That's all I ask. The simplicity reframes everything. Service without prejudice, dignity without discrimination. The new crew members exchange glances, understanding their first flight will set precedents. Final systems checks commence with unusual thoroughness. Every switch and seal verified, the aircraft preparing for departure under new principles. The ground crew receives pushback clearance through normal channels. No mysterious overrides needed, just standard operations resuming after a legitimate maintenance hold. The tug connects, ready to guide $200 million of aluminum and justice toward the runway. Tower, this is Skylink 1247, requesting departure clearance. The controller's response carries unusual warmth. Skylink 1247, cleared for takeoff. Make history. Keisha returns to seat 1A, but her laptop remains open. New documents fill the screen. Contracts with 47 other airlines. Each represents thousands of aircraft, millions of passengers, billions in potential impact. She drafts an email with subject line precision, implementing Washington protocol across all partnerships. The message attaches her 7-point reform plan, modified for industry-wide adoption. Send buttons become triggers for change, each click spreading requirements through aviation's ecosystem. Stock markets respond to leadership. Skylink climbs 1.2% on decisive action. Algorithms reading reform as competitive advantage. Captain Rodriguez's voice returns transformed. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Washington has donated this flight's revenue to the Anti-Discrimination Fund. That's $300,000 toward justice. Applause erupts spontaneously, beginning in economy and spreading forward. The sound fills the cabin like pressure equalizing, recognition finding expression. Even the engines seem to harmonize as they spool up, mechanical hearts beating with renewed purpose. CNN's aviation analyst speaks over breaking news footage. This could reshape corporate aviation culture globally. We're watching the birth of the Washington Doctrine. Kesha opens her final document of the flight, an Excel sheet listing Skylink senior executives. 6 names highlighted in red, their discrimination complaint histories detailed in adjacent columns. She composes 6 identical emails, each a precision strike. Your resignation or my litigation? Choose wisely. The plane accelerates down runway 27 right, its weight perfectly balanced. But the real weight, history, justice, accountability, distributes across digital networks. As wheels leave tarmac, transformation has already begun. Not just for Skylink, but for an industry learning that discrimination costs more than fuel. Mother would have smiled. Not at the confrontation, but at the conversation it started. Change happens when power meets purpose at exactly the right altitude. The thought passes through Keisha's mind as Los Angeles appears on the horizon. Below, 47 airlines await their own reckonings. But first, she'll land this plane, walk through LAX, and face the media storm waiting at arrivals. Each step measured, each word chosen, each action building toward systemic change. The wheels touch Los Angeles tarmac with unusual gentleness, as if even the aircraft understands the weight of its cargo. Through oval windows, passengers glimpse the media storm. News vans circling like predators, reporters adjusting earpieces, cameras focusing on the jet bridge. History demands witnesses. Kesha Washington emerges first from the aircraft, her stride unchanged by fame or fury. Microphones thrust forward like weapons, questions firing in rapid succession. She stops precisely where lighting favors truth, delivering 30 seconds that will replay for decades. Systems change or systems collapse. Your choice. No elaboration needed. The word spread through social media faster than jet streams, becoming philosophy for boardrooms and break rooms alike. Behind her, other passengers emerge transformed, witnesses to revolution at 30,000 feet, each carrying stories that will reshape dinner conversations and diversity trainings. 6 months later, Janelle Williams stands behind a Target register in suburban Minneapolis. Her name tag reads simply, Jan. Anonymity, her only refuge from viral infamy. The local news plays on the break room television, another airline announcing Washington Protocol adoption. She looks away, scanning items with mechanical precision, each beep counting down a lifetime sentence of minimum wage. Her YouTube apology video sits at 4 million views, comments disabled after death threats peaked. The woman who once commanded first-class galleys now asks about Target credit cards, her fall from grace measured in hourly wages. When she recognizes a former frequent flyer, both pretend not to know each other. Some bridges burn too completely for crossing. Derek Jenkins sends his 237th job application into the digital void. Aviation blacklists work through whispers and Google searches, his name synonymous with the disaster. His LinkedIn shows a gap lengthening like runway, connections severing one by one. Pride prevents him from applying outside aviation. Experience chains him within it. Limbo tastes like unemployment benefits and rejection emails. Captain Rodriguez accepts his promotion with humility earned through near loss. Chief of Pilot Training, Diversity Division, a position created specifically for him. His first initiative requires all pilots to undergo Dr. Washington's 7-point training. The cockpit culture shifts slowly, then suddenly. Stories emerge of pilots intervening when crew members show bias, 4 stripes finally defending all passengers equally. Officer Martinez types the final chapter of his manuscript. The Skylink Incident, How One Woman Changed Aviation. Publishers compete for rights. Hollywood circles for adaptation. His security uniform hangs in the closet, traded for author tours and speaking engagements. The book dedication reads, To Dr. Washington, who showed me the difference between authority and power. Marcus Thompson's law firm explodes with purpose. 2,847 discrimination cases filed against Skylink alone, each seeking justice delayed but not denied. His team works 18-hour days, deposing crew members and reviewing footage. The settlements fund community programs, money flowing from discrimination to education. His conference room wall displays a photo from Seat 4C, the moment he stood up becoming his firm's origin story. Sarah Martinez's live stream career transforms from makeup tutorials to social justice. 3 million followers watch her investigate discrimination across industries. The Skylink incident her credential for credibility. Companies hire her for diversity audits, fearing their own viral moment. She keeps the original stream pinned to her profile. Those first shaky seconds, when she decided documentation mattered more than comfort. Eleanor Whitfield writes checks with the determination of someone purchasing absolution. The Washington Scholarships fund 43 students in their first year, each recipient chosen for potential to challenge systems. She attends every graduation, her presence a reminder that change can come at any age. The pearls still circle her neck, but now they remind her of assumptions that nearly strangled justice. Robert Chen teaches the case at Stanford Business School. His viral thread required reading. Students dissect each tweet, understanding how individual choices compound into institutional change. His consulting firm helps companies implement Washington protocols before crisis forces them. Prevention pays better than punishment. Boardrooms learning slowly. Skylink's monthly discrimination reports tell transformation's tale. From 71 complaints monthly to 0 for 6 consecutive months. Not because discrimination disappeared, but because reporting it became safer than committing it. Body cameras catch kindness and cruelty equally, algorithms flagging patterns, human resources missed. The culture shifts from covering to uncovering. Protection meaning something different now. Keisha's board seat becomes a command center for change. She pushes through hiring requirements that triple diversity in leadership within 18 months. The stock price climbs 34%, markets finally understanding that inclusion includes everyone in profits. Harvard Business School publishes The 10-Minute Revolution, analyzing how preparation met opportunity at exactly the right altitude. 1,000 speaking invitations pile up like boarding passes to nowhere. Keisha declines them all except one, the United Nations General Assembly. She speaks for 12 minutes about dignity and documentation, power and prejudice. The speech streams live to 2 billion viewers, her words translated into 193 languages. But the message remains simple. Discrimination is expensive, justice is profitable. Prejudice costs more than jets, it costs human dignity. The quote echoes through conference rooms and classrooms, boardrooms and break rooms. Washington Aerospace Industries surpasses Boeing in market capitalization, investors betting on leadership over legacy. Every new contract includes Article 14.3, the discrimination clause that grounds planes and careers equally. 17 states pass Keisha's Law, requiring body cameras for customer service positions. The legislation spreads like beneficial virus, each state adding improvements. Federal adoption seems inevitable, justice finding jurisdiction. Time magazine's Person of the Year cover shows Keisha in Seat 1A, laptop open, changing the world one contract at a time. The final scene finds her in a corner office overlooking Seattle. 47 aircraft leases spread across multiple monitors. Each contract now contains the clause that started everything. Discrimination voids all agreements. Simple words that shift billions in liability, making bias bad business. Her assistant enters with afternoon updates, including acquisitions pending in hospitality sector. Keisha's smile carries the weight of future battles. What's next, Dr. Washington? Hotels. They think they can choose who sleeps. Time to wake them up. The assistant nods, understanding. The Washington Protocol spreads beyond aviation, justice finding new altitudes. Every industry with customer service becomes vulnerable to accountability, discrimination finally priced at its true cost. Outside, planes cross the Seattle sky like signatures on contracts. Each carries the potential for another Skylink moment, another passenger refused dignity, another crew member choosing prejudice. But now they also carry body cameras and bias training, algorithms and accountability. The sky no longer belongs only to those who look like they can afford it. The transformation metrics tell their own story. Skylink diversity, hiring up 340%. Customer satisfaction scores increase 47%. Employee turnover drops to historic lows. The math of morality finally balanced, proving what Keisha always knew. Discrimination is expensive. Inclusion profitable. The epilogue writes itself in data. 8,400 discrimination cases resolved. 200 airlines adopting Washington protocols. $4.2 billion reinvested in diversity initiatives. But behind each number stands a person who deserved dignity from the start. The revolution didn't begin at 30,000 feet. It began the moment someone said, "This obviously isn't yours," to the wrong woman. Power isn't about the volume of your voice. It's about the weight of your actions. When you witness injustice, don't just watch. Document. Stand. Speak. The world changes when good people stop being quiet. Your moment might last 10 minutes, but its echo can reshape industries. Be ready.